Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom. And today I'm playing with the lovely Sparkle of the Season stamp set with the coordinating dies, which you can see have lovely kind of leaf wreaths and pine wreaths and this lovely star one. And then there's beautiful sort of like wreath builder stamps here, which you can really customise for any season because you've got leaves and stars and snowflakes and all sorts of things. So really useful one to have in your stash because it covers, you know, the 4 seasons. And I'm pairing it with the lovely Peaceful Place DSP. So this is 12 by 12 foiled designer series paper. And it has lovely sort of tree foiled themes on the one side in lovely dark grey, basic grey and what colours is this? Basic grey, smoky slate, yeah, and black, and obviously and silver. So you can see here some wood texture. I've used this snowflake one in the one, and then this is another paper. You can see the foiled trees, and this one is lovely as well. And on the reverse, you've got sort of more neutral patterns that can be used for any time of year. Lovely check sort of gingham one as well. And you can see it goes with the Peaceful Cabin stamp set, which I haven't got, but I thought this was a lovely paper. And I'm also using some of this gorgeous foil here. So this is 12 by 12 specialty foil in the catalogue, and you actually get 2 sheets each of this lovely foil. Or is it 1 sheet each? Yeah, 1 sheet each of this foil. So you've got a lovely silver kind of brushed foil. You've got a lovely sort of basic grey, more matte foil, and then this lovely black textured foil as well. So useful for all sorts of accents that you can add on. Something a little bit different. And then this card is one that came about when I was making my diamond fronted card, because it's actually just half of that. And I just thought it looked like a kind of either a house or a church. And I just thought it made a perfect kind of Christmas card with this wreath across the front. And obviously that just fits in a standard C6 envelope, as you can see here. That literally just pops in there. And it's a great one for posting because it's really easy for people to see how it works. They can see straight away that it just stands up. And you could make a belly band to keep it closed if you wanted, but I just thought with the wreath on the front. And then I've used another wreath here with an inlaid panel and a bit of the sentiment as well. So to start off with then, what I've cut is I've cut a few things out already. So I have cut one of the wreaths in the silver foil and one in the dark grey, and I've just cut those straight out from the foil. That's my centre panel. Out of both of those, and then I've cut one out of basic white, but I've actually put the adhesive sheets on that first, so that makes that adhesive. Yeah, so just to take that out, so you get a nice panel to go in the centre as well. And when we come to take that off, we're actually just going to take the backing paper off half of it, because we only want half of it to actually adhere to our other piece. But I'll just show you that. You can literally just trim it in half. There we go. So those are our pieces that we've cut out in advance. Other things I've done in advance, I've chosen my second lot of paper. So I thought we'd use this tree here because I thought that would fit really well down the centre of the panel. So I'm actually going to sort of cut it and trim it down and then use either side of that. And then for the centre panel in the middle, I'm going to use the top section of this paper. This is lovely with the trees at the bottom, and then you've got the lovely sort of sparkly sky at the top. So I'm going to start off by trimming that down to a piece that's 14.5 centimetres. And the piece for the back, I want 8.5 centimetres. So that's going to be for my back inner panel. Okay, so that's my back inner panel. I'm going to cut that piece of lovely DSP down. So So I'm actually going to cut that just in half. This is 6 inches to start off with. I'm going to trim that down to 14.5. Just make sure that the tree is still on the top. And then that's going to be my centre panel, and I actually want 2 pieces that are 4 centimetres, so I want an 8 centimetre. So I'm just going to put that top of that tree at about 4 centimetres and trim that to 8 there, like so, and then cut that down the middle at 4. So we're going to have our trees down the middle there to see how that looks. Okay, so those are going to be our 2 centre panels, so they'll close to create a tree. We'll have our wreath on the front there. So now we need to create our card base itself. So the card base is, I'm using standard Whisper White, and that's because there's quite a few, because it's going to fold back on itself, and it's going to have layers on. We don't need to use our thick Whisper White. So I'm using it 14.5 centimetres by 27. And I'm just going to score those at 4.5, 9, at 18, and at 22.5. The next thing you want to do is actually make some marks, either with a pencil or with a, I've got a removable pen. So you actually, you're going to mark the centre of this panel, and you're going to make a couple of marks down the side here. So these are going to be a ruler. So mark the middle of that centre section, so that's 9, so just mark that at 4.5, just at the top there. If you wanted to know that, so that is, the reason I'm doing it that is because it's like 13.25, so just make sure that is, yeah. So that is just at 4.5. So I'm then going to mark down this score line, again at 4.5 centimetres, and again the same on this score line. I've done the wrong score line. Let me show you. It's actually on the one either side of that one, so it's actually here. That would help, wouldn't it? Right. So mark the very centre of your card. So 4.5 on that middle panel, 4.5 down, and again 4.5 down. And then the outer edge, let's get rid of that one. The outer edge you want to mark at 4.5 as well, just to give you a rough guide, but we're just going to cut that freehand rather than scoring. So once you've marked those centre panels, take your score tool, and you're going to, I'm using the narrow kind of point, make a mark and just scoring from the centre to the corner. To the corner, and then I'm going to score from this score line up to the top of this first score line. Same again, and the same again. So as you can see, so this is what I do. I make myself a template, write the measurements on so that I'm all ready to go. So as you can see, so we've got score line, so we go down, and up, but don't worry about scoring those outer ones, and I'll show you why in a moment. Remove any pencil marks that you've got, you don't want those showing, and then I reinforce all of them in the direction of those scores, and then fold back. So we're going to fold back on itself to the middle here, and back on itself to the middle. So you then have a nice centre panel like so. Now that we've done that, we can do our diagonals. So just very gently with your fingers, just crease those again, I go away to start off with, and then fold them back on themselves. Okay, so now I've done that, that can come in and back, and that one can come in and back on itself, like so. Now, as I said, I find it just easiest, rather than doing anything fancy, I'm just going to come with my scissors and trim, just like so. That's dead easy, and that way you know it's always going to be perfect. So even if your scoring was slightly off, it doesn't matter because your front is going to match. So there we go. I've then cut 2 pieces of card, 14.5 again by just 4.2, and those are going to go on the front there. So again, just use my seal and just pop that up the centre of your panel, away from that score line. So same on the other side. Just gives that really narrow hint of a border. And again, come in from the back and just trim those down. Like so. Next piece that we want then, so we want next our so we're going to do the same again with these, and just pop those, and that will just make that lovely tree pop beautifully on the front there. One more bit of measuring actually, which I forgot to do. Obviously you could decorate the other panels as well if you wanted to, but I'm just keeping those because I think by the time you've got the centre panel decorated, perfect as it is. So again, we can just come in. I never use scissors get a bit of glue on them. WD-40 is one way of getting those really clean. So again, just come in. So no need to measure those. The only one we do want to measure is this one here. So again, we're just going to come and do around about 4. It's just under 4.5 in fact that we're going to measure, because 4.5 is our top one. So if you come down to about 4.3 on each side, and again in the middle there at 8.5, so it's almost a 4.25, so slightly awkward ones. Now I'm just going to free cut that up to the centre, but obviously use a scalpel, use a whatever makes you comfortable. Just remove those pencil marks and you should find that will just fit in to the centre, and then you can trim off at the very bottom. So kind of line it up to the top of the centre and then trim off at the bottom. Again, the idea being that we're trimming away rather than trying to worry about really precise triangles. So yeah, I'm just keeping the glue just slightly off the bottom edge and just popping that into that very centre. You see slightly overhangs at the bottom, so just flip it over with your scissors across there. Okay, so here we go. Now what we want to do is add our various wreaths. So decide which one you want to go on the back, which one you want to stand out. So I might actually put the silver one on the back there. So I'm just, this is the one I originally, in fact, this is the one. Let's put the white one on the back to make it stand out. That way we can take off all of the adhesive in the middle there. Just pop that like so, and that way you can then add a contrast panel in if you want, or just leave it as it is. And then with the other two panels, all I'm going to do is I'm adding some adhesive to one half of the wreath. So I'm just kind of making an arbitrary decision about where the halfway point is. And I'm going to add that onto the front there. Then I'm going to make sure that this one is slightly offset. So my two stars are going to be my midpoint now. And again, just come in with those, with just the glue. And just offset those like so. So while those are drying, then we can get on with our sentiment. So I've cut a small piece of basic white, probably basic white that I keep calling whisper white. She says I did call, yes. So I've cut a small piece of basic white, which is 6.5 by 2 centimetres, and a piece of basic grey, which is 6.8 by 2.3. I've got my little sentiment here, and I'm just going to actually use smoky slate instead, because I rather like smoky slate. So I'm using my grid paper to help line that up, and then hopefully manage to keep it reasonably square. Which is a lovely sentiment. May the sparkle of the season warm your heart and home. So I can just pop that onto my basic grey contrast layer. Just add a little bit to the back there. And there we have our pretty house or church shaped wreath card, which, as you can see, just adds with those wreaths that are free floating and hopefully makes a really pretty Christmas card to gift. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me again soon. If you'd like to purchase any of the products you've seen today, do pop along to my blog or to my Stampin' Up shop at heidismith.stampinup.net, and you'll find all of them on there. See you soon. Bye now.